Hello, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Mike.
And this is 6 Degrees of Schwarzenegger, the podcast where we're taking a long, hard look at some of our favorite action movies from the era of Arnold.
Schwarzenegger is the icon of the genre, and we're taking a deep dive into some of the 80s and 90s cult action movies and breaking them all the way down.
Hey guys, welcome back. This is part 3 of our dissection of Big Trouble in Little China. On this episode, Mike and I are going to discuss the gang war between the Chang Sing and the Wing Kong, all the way through the good guys developing their plan to break Miao Yin out of get him away from the evil clutches of the bad guys.
Miao Yin.
It opens basically with both these gangs just like charging at each other like Braveheart style, and it's just like all out, bonzo action, right?
For this being like a John Carpenter martial arts film, not a lot of the actors in this movie are known for their martial arts. Like none of them have like this huge martial arts background that you can think of. Like we had discussed earlier that Jackie Chan was supposed to play the Wang Chi character. And if he had done that, then that would have probably been the biggest martial arts star in this film at the time. But yeah, I've always thought this was interesting, that these are literally just Asian actors, like performing martial arts, or not all of them, but a lot of them. Obviously, they're the stunt actors that are doing their thing. But like a lot of the main cast are not known for their martial arts. Yeah,
basically, I mean, I'm sure that a lot of those stuntmen and the extras are like, they had skills, but yeah, none of the characters whose names you really know are big martial arts guys.
Yeah.
That is interesting. I mean, it is a lot of like short takes, no like real drawn out, like choreographed.
Yeah.
Big, fights that you imagine.
If they train me up for 5 months, I bet you I could do some of that stuff. I could hold a pole the right way. I could especially if I was like younger.
That's what's weird, is a lot of this is just like dudes swinging clubs and axes and stuff like that at each other.
And I could fire a gun. That wouldn't be very hard at all.
So what are those shiny metallic like pipe things that both sides seem to have? They're not like, I don't know. They're not like lead pipes or anything. They're real shiny.
I thought that they were the poles that were holding up the coffin.
Right.
So I don't know if they're like a traditional Asian martial arts weapon.
There seem to be like a lot more of them though than there were, but maybe it's just that like movie magic. Right?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm sure they have a name. I just don't know what that is.
They were breaking legs with those things. Anyway.
Yeah.
Also, I did think that there was like a lot of like disparity in the weapons, but every person sort of seemed to pair off with somebody that had the same like weapon as them. Mm-hmm. Like you didn't see a dude with a knife or a axe going at like a guy with his bare hands. It was like some guys were hand to hand, some guys were like two of those pipes, or some guys was like blades.
Maybe that's because a lot of these guys didn't know any martial arts, so it would have been easy to like, Hey, Bruce Lee, we're going to have you fight these 5 guys and they all have nunchucks and swords, like, to go do your thing. Like, they didn't do this in this movie because nobody knew how to combat, like, different martial arts styles.
There were some gruesome, like, broken bones in the scene. You were mentioning the arm part gets you.
Yeah, so there's this one part where a character in that big fight gets his arm, like, broken backwards. And this movie came out when I was like 15 years old. And you know how you see a film and it just something sticks with you and you can never really kind of get over it. Yeah. Like I watched Creepshow when I was like a little kid, and that movie still scares me, although it's like a comedy now. Well, in this movie, one of the actors gets his arm broken like in this backwards way. And to this day, I cannot watch that scene. Just can't like every single time you turn away, or I look at something else. I always know exactly when that scene's about to come up because I'm just like,
does the broken leg part get
broken
you?
Leg doesn't get me so much. Okay. The broken arm does, and I can't explain it. I don't know why. It's just one of those weird things.
There's a moment that I notice every single time, and you were saying you didn't really notice, where like 2 guys are fighting, one guy's got a sword and one guy's got sort of like a big knife, and the dude with the knife like knocks the guy down and just stabs him right in the dick.
So I didn't notice that because first of all, I think I know what scene you're talking about. And do they actually show it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He comes down with both hands like on the handle and like
Gotcha.
just brings it down with all his weight. It was like so over the top that they drop in an insert shot of Jack and Wang like reacting to it. They're like, ooh.
You know what? I bet you I don't realize that because it's probably close to the broken arm scene that I don't want to see. and I'm always just like looking away when it actually happens.
Now, in most movies, maybe like that's where, you know, the Arnold Schwarzenegger or Bruce Willis would have dropped a one-liner in, like when someone got stabbed, you know, below the belt. Don't you think? Like that's that stick around.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I don't know any dick one-liners.
A lot of dudes are getting like slammed into walls, like curb stomped or whatever, you know, like just getting their heads run into walls or through windows.
This is stunt man's paradise. It's like it's over the top, gratuitous violence, which
This is really probably like the biggest. I think this might have more violence than the action scene at the end of the movie, even.
Yeah, oh yeah, I think absolutely.
It's definitely like a higher body count.
I would agree. Just because we do see more people. At the end of the movie, you don't really see like the aftermath. In this scene, you see it. Like you see the bodies on the ground, you see the broken bones, you see the guy getting stabbed in the dick. You don't really see all that. Like the end of the movie, I think the fight at the end of the movie is so much bigger that they don't have time and editing to kind of show all that.
And Leong, like he picks a dude up on his shoulders and sort of like Samoan drops him through a window. It's like a wrestling move.
Yeah, I was about to say that's like a WWE wrestling move. I definitely remember that. I don't know how that glass works when they do that, but how he breaks him through that glass. But I thought that was kind of cool.
We get the first chance to see the Chang Sing like flashing that hand signal at each other. It's a weird little like hand gesture, like one finger up and like making an L or whatever with your thumb and your finger. Yeah,
because I think at that part of the movie, the Chang Sing are winning the battle. Like, they're kind of like, oh yeah, look, they're showing off whatever I guess they're okay, we're okay, or everything's good, or like everything's all right. Sign. Yeah, it's like a gang sign. Yeah. So they're flashing that sign around, and then like everything's okay, and then out of nowhere comes the three storms.
Oh, right. Yeah. Like there's a big puff of smoke and weird green flames. And this dude just like drops down right with a giant straw hat on. And then another dude with same clothes comes in, and a dude like drops down from the sky like riding a lightning bolt down.
Yeah. So that's where we're introduced to the three storms. It's thunder, rain, and lightning.
That's a good intro.
Yeah, that's a good
like
badass
epic.
intro.
These dudes are badass, right?
Oh, yeah. I think probably, wouldn't you say that thunder, rain, and lightning are the things that you remember the most about this movie?
Yeah. I mean, you got like the main bad guy, Lo Pan, but he's not like a fighter like that.
Yeah, I don't remember him nearly as much as I remember those three characters.
And these dudes are definitely, you know, superhuman or supernatural or whatever, right?
Yeah, they're like some kind of a Chinese mythological characters. Yeah. I don't know like the history of them. I don't know if there even is a history. I don't know if they were created specifically for this film or if there is something deeper than that. But when they're introduced, it was like, whoa, that's pretty cool.
You know, these guys are a big deal.
Yeah, if they were to do a spinoff of, I would watch that movie. I'd watch
just about these guys.
Just about those three guys.
Okay,
absolutely. I don't know how they would do it. Like, you know, through their backstory, how they became like the three storms and how they had to fight. Because I imagine they were probably good at some point, and then they got with Lo Pan, and he kind of like, you know, like Darth Vader.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I think their powers are so simple yet so cool. Like they basically control the weather with inside themselves. Like Thunder has the ability to kind of blow himself up. He doesn't control like anything outside of himself.
What about Rain? Does he even have a power?
I guess he controls the rain, but you never see that as a power. Like,
that's not really a useful power to have either.
You never see like a scene where water rushes up or like the rain gets really heavy and washes somebody away or something like that. Lightning, I think, is the most obvious power.
Yeah. So like to me when I was little, like lightning always seemed like he's the most badass, and therefore I guess like he must be the leader. He's also the last one to arrive. But like on watching it now, it seems like Thunder's like the guy in charge, right?
I've always felt that Thunder was the one in charge of everything like that, and Lightning's kind of like the badass hitman. Okay. He's like the badass assassin. Raiden from Mortal Kombat we think is loosely based on lightning.
I mean, he's got to be like he's got the same sort of skill set. He's got the same look with the big hat down over his eyes.
That looks completely similar. Yeah.
No, I was saying just before we started rolling, like maybe that's some sort of character or like a trope in Chinese mythology or whatever. But I mean, there's no doubt that Mortal Kombat had to have been inspired to create that character based off of this guy.
I didn't realize that the tongs were real. Like, I didn't know that those were like a real Chinese gangs. And so they did their research when they wrote this script. So that is very possible that lightning, thunder, and rain are based on some characters in Chinese mythology. I can't remember
Rain's backstory. But on the commentary, I know John Carpenter said that the guy who plays Lightning was like a model. You can tell he's like a handsome dude.
Yeah, I can see that.
And then they said the guy who played Thunder was like a big movie star in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And something he either was Hong Kong police or he trained Hong Kong police.
Yeah, I remember
so
that story.
maybe he's like a real martial artist. I don't know what. Or maybe he's like something else. I don't know what he's training him in.
I think between the three, he was the most prolific with martial arts. And that kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like, why would you have hired like three well-known, well-established martial artists to play those roles?
Yeah.
Like, just think of all the things that you could have done with those characters if you had done that.
And just from business, like, you make a lot more money overseas if it's like Jackie Chan and Jet Li and you know this guy or whatever, right?
Jackie Chan, Jet Li, and I don't know when Bruce Lee died, but Bruce Lee,
they
were the three
dead.
storms,
and the ghost of Bruce Lee.
Well, and this movie was made in '86, so he might not.
No,
have been. I don't
think
know.
He died in the '70s.
I'm not sure. I can't.
We have to look it up.
We'll have to look that up. But for fans' sake, say that it's Jackie Chan, Jet Li, and
the biggest
and Bruce
three
Lee.
Dudes. At the time, like that would have had to have been probably the biggest movie of the year in China.
And I'm not sure, like, if they were really worried. Like, these days they literally have scenes in movies that are made specifically for like overseas markets. I don't know if they were even concerned about that kind of stuff back in 1986. They were just like, we're going to make this as an American film, and we hope it sells here. And if it makes some money over in China, that's great. But we're not really concerned about that.
I feel like you don't cast a big Hong Kong star who can barely speak English unless you think that might give you some credibility or whatever overseas. Yeah. I don't know. At the end of the day, we don't know, but I choose to believe that they sort of cast him because he was a known commodity in the Chinese market.
I've never heard of the guy before.
Nah, I mean, he wasn't like, he never broke through over here like a Chow Yun Fat or something.
None of those guys did.
Nah.
Yeah, which is funny you say Chow Yun Fat because he's not really known for being a martial
arts guy. He's just a shoot 'em up.
He's just shoot 'em up guy. So after that's when we are introduced to like the real low pan because Wang is like, look, we got to get the hell out of here because this shit just got real.
Well, like the good guys, I guess, the good gangsters, like shoot, like all of a sudden they have guns again that they weren't using in the battle, but they're shooting at the storms and like they just hit nothing. It seemed like no reaction. Like that was something like straight out of the Matrix for me. It was like these sort of supernatural guy, like like the Merovingians dudes in the second one. It's like all these like sort of whatever leftovers from another time or something like that.
Yeah, they don't really show what happens. Like you can see the guys firing at them,
and they just don't hit them.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that both both groups start firing at them.
They both seem afraid of them.
Yeah, so they're both afraid of them. But you don't see like where the bullets go. Like there wasn't like that special effect shot where the bullets are kind of like ping ping, bouncing off of them or like disappearing.
That's why I think they're like almost like ghosts, like low pan. Like I don't think that they're physical humans.
I would agree with you if it wasn't for the fact that they physically get into a fight with people. Right. So how do they go in between?
Maybe they can sort of choose whether or not to
I think it's possible that they are physically there and they're just not affected by the bullets.
They got these three knives that they pull out that sort of like float through the air up into their hand or whatever, and they do this like in sync, like front flip and throw the knives.
Yeah.
And take 3 dudes out, and then they break out these other whole sets of weapons.
Yeah.
Like
that seems like a waste of energy though, because they only really killed 3 guys with those knives.
You know, I can't even remember what Thunder's weapon is, but Rain had like those 2 little like claws that were on
what
like
was Thunder's?
poles.
I think Thunder's was just like a knife.
It was like it was whatever. It wasn't a sai. It was like that knife with the sort of curved blade around the handle as well. Mm-hmm. And then Lightning had those like spinning.
Of course, he has the coolest,
he had the coolest weapon too. That's why for me is like, oh, he's the leader. He's the dude in charge. But but I don't think he actually is the leader now that I look back on it.
And
maybe he's just the best skill.
He has the best stuff. Yeah, he has the coolest stuff. But I mean, every single time they show the 3, they always show Thunder first. Like Thunder, when they start walking towards everybody, Thunder's in the lead. They always show Thunder first.
I think he's the only one who gets to talk.
I think he's the only one that really talks. Yeah. And we'll get to it later on in the movie, but it's kind of obvious that he's Lopan's right hand man.
Yeah,
like all the directions from Lopan go through Thunder.
So Wang has like seen enough of this at this point. He tells Jack, "We got to get out of here."
Wang knows what's up. He knows
he knows these 3.
He knows these 3. He knows what's up.
So Jack, guns the Porkchop Express, and they start driving. And the dudes each sort of sidestep the thing like a matador. And I can't remember who's last in line. Probably Lightning. He like flies up he just flies up into the air and like flips over the entire big rig. And that's when Lopan is standing there like full, tall, like weird, like elaborate, costume, very extravagant. I think they described it as like a Manchurian costume.
The costume designer.
I'm not sure, what exactly that means. It's like a region of China, but I guess that's like traditional wear.
I remember hearing something that the costume designer said about making of the costumes in this movie and how intricate it was. And
then I think the protesters like thought it was racially insensitive or like a stereotype or something that he looked like that. But I mean, I think he's supposed to be a holdover from 1,000 years ago or whatever.
So how do you make a movie like that with Chinese symbolisms and art and costumes without making it too Asian? Like how do you?
Maybe you got like a John Woo or Ang Lee directing it, and then it's like, oh well, it's got an Asian director, I guess.
But is that the only difference that?
Because I mean,
now that you have John Woo,
when we look at the movie, like I don't really. I mean, this could be like white privilege, but I don't see anything like that they did in the movie that was like seemed racist or disrespectful.
Sometimes you just don't even know what's racist until somebody points it out to you. Like there could have been just a ton of stuff in this movie that was like in your face racist to the Asian culture that we just didn't pick up on. But I think that John Carpenter did a really good job of hiring somebody to watch out for stuff like that. Yeah.
And so they basically just take the truck straight at Lopan, and like in actuality, we see the truck hit him, like thud into him, and
they feel it
knocked right down, right?
They feel it. That's why they stop.
But then, like, they get out to look for the body, which I really don't know why. You tried to hit him. Like, it's not like, oh man, I can't believe I hit him.
I would have kept going too.
And then Lopan is just standing there behind the truck.
Yeah.
Like he's back up and whatever.
And Jack's checking him out, and Lopan like shoots some kind of like flash out of his eyes and his mouth too. Yeah, out of his eyes and his mouth.
And we'll see he does that trick regularly, right? Like he does that a few times. I think
he probably does it later on in the movie.
But yeah, it blinds Jack. It's like super bright. Yeah, and Wayne grabs him and sort of pulls him off down another alley.
Yeah, and this is where Jack loses his truck. Because they should. I don't understand why they got out of the. Like I'm the guy that's like the horror movie. Like, why are you still in the house? Like when the ghost tells you to leave. Like why did you get out of the truck?
Yeah, I mean, you knew you tried to hit him. Like I don't know why you're all of a sudden like concerned about his well-being or whatever.
And Wang should have known. Yeah, like Wang should have definitely known. No, don't get out the truck. We need to keep moving.
So, but now Jack's blind, so they can't really drive away. So I assume Wang doesn't know how to drive the truck.
Yeah,
they sort of run off down an alley. And,
it's almost like a maze too. Like they run down several different little alleyways, and I don't know if they are just lost or they just can't find their way back to the truck because they run down one part, they run into the Lords of Death, and then they run into another part, and they're on the back side of the the fight with the Chang, the three storms.
I do love how some like Wang splashing some puddle water in Jack's face like cures the blindness.
Yeah, maybe if they had done that to Han Solo in Return of the Jedi.
How much money would it take for you to let me splash some like dirty Chinatown alley puddle water in your eyes?
However much money Kurt Russell made to make this movie.
That is not like, I'm sure this was like purified, filtered Fuji water or whatever on the set.
That was a set, yeah.
But like in real life, how is splashing some nasty ass puddle water gonna cure for blindness?
Maybe the bacteria that was like in that like that ramen noodles and everything.
He might have his vision back, but he's probably gonna have like some serious whatever pink eye.
He can see, but now he's got glaucoma.
Yeah, they run into the Lords of Death, then they keep running. They wind up like sort of on the backside of the battle where the three storms are just like killing everybody.
They're just whooping ass.
Who are these dudes who thought it was a good idea to stick around and try to fight the three storms? Like it seemed like most guys ran away, and then there were some guys who was like, nah, man, like let's go toe to toe with these guys.
I don't even know why the three storms came here. Like, what was their point of coming here? Because we know why we know what Lopan wants, and what Lopan wants is not there. You know,
yeah,
like he
that's
wants
true.
to go,
I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why they decided to get involved in that.
Yeah. It was a weird. I mean, it was a cool scene, but I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
The Wing Kong is like Lopan's gang in human form, like his natural world businesses. Like they're his soldiers. So maybe he didn't want to see his soldiers get wiped out.
So is Lopan one of those like leaders that's like kill them all, you know? You like in Raiders of the Lost Ark, where it's like, wait a minute, I'm gonna
shoot both of them.
Yeah, I'm gonna sacrifice my own man just to kill these guys too. Because it never made any sense to me why they're actually there, other than just to whoop some ass. Were they there to meet the Lords of Death? Like
maybe because the Lords of Death
the Lords of Death are right there, so that can't be like a coincidence.
I don't even think, because the Lords of Death just give the girl over though to the brothel or whatever. So
but we never see that happen, so that we don't ever know when that happens. The girl could have still been there in like that car. Like she could have been. True. That's where they took. I assume
she is so little time had passed. I assume she was probably still in the car.
They were following the Lords of Death to that spot, and so there's no way they had time to take her from that spot to the brothel. So she had to have still been in that car. Like I don't even know. Like I guess we'd have to go back and see, but I don't even know if they show a shot of her like being taken out of the car or something like that.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either, because I would think Wang would have tried to go after her or something like that.
Wang and Jack like just dive through a window, and they like land on a strategically placed mattress. That was pretty lucky, right?
Yeah.
And there's some other members of the good gang hanging out in there.
Yeah, the Chang
Sang. And then I think Wang is like wanting them to leave, but Jack's very concerned about getting his truck back. And then I guess he convinces them. I think someone starts coming down into the basement, and they run off. But they crawl through these like weird brick tunnels.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. I don't have any idea what that was supposed to be.
So going back a little bit, like I wonder who came downstairs. Like it could have been more good guys. They could have been more backup. They just start running.
Yeah.
Like we have no idea who started running down the steps, because it wasn't the three storms. We know that for sure. Mm-hmm. I'm a little confused as like who's battling who. Like there was literally 4 different groups at that point. There's the three storms. There's the Chang Sing, the Wing Kong, and the Lords of Death. So there's 4 different groups there. And the Lords of Death, you haven't seen them fight at that point, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did fight.
You're right. I mean, even if it's like whatever, the switchblades and guns or whatever. Now we got Wang and Jack are like walking back to the restaurant in the rain. And this is the first like really good look I think we get at Jack's costume, which is like a pretty iconic costume. He's got like these just the tightest jeans you can imagine. Some like knee-high, like sort of leather or suede like moccasins.
Some knee-high moccasins,
And then he's got that tank top with like the Asian like sort of symbols and like drawing like almost like a comic strip or something on it.
I wear tank tops and jeans now because of that movie.
Moccasins?
Not moccasins, but I don't know if I can find any that would fit.
He's talking about like he got those moccasins custom made in Aspen or something like that. Yeah. He said his son also has a pair now.
That's one of those things that seems really cool like in a movie, but like you would like if you saw somebody walking down the street wearing like knee-high moccasins, like a dude, Like,
definitely not in the rain.
Yeah.
Suede.
Yeah, that'd be a little weird, but it was 86.
And we see, like, this is basically the costume he was wearing basically for the rest of the movie, at least when he's, like, going into action or whatever.
Well, he has a pretty significant costume change in the next scene.
But anyway, they're back at the restaurant, and, like, Jack has got this ridiculous, like, purple silk robe on.
Yeah.
That he's talking. But you do see his clothes are hanging up on a line in the back. Like, they must have run them through the wash or something like that. They're drying them out. But that robe is, like, too much.
Yeah, I don't. It doesn't.
Do you think, whose robe was that?
Oh, it seems like it's a female robe.
Definitely.
I got the feeling it was a female's robe.
So I don't think it could be Wang. Like, I mean, his girl just showed up. So unless he had, like, a side piece or something coming through there. Maybe it's Uncle Chu? Uncle Chu's woman?
I don't know. I'd hate to go out on a limb and say that they were in, like, a Chinese laundry and he just kind of took it from that. But
they were in the kitchen at the restaurant.
They were in the kitchen of the restaurant, so I have no idea.
Now, I imagine that Wang, like, lives above the restaurant. Like, in my mind, that's the scenario.
But whose robe is that? That's a good question.
He's probably had a woman or two.
It's actually probably a good thing he's got it, because I would think that Miao Yin would be upset to see another female's robe at the house.
Right.
Jack said something really interesting when he was in that having that conversation on the phone. He's talking about how everything's going kind of nuts and everything like that, and he says something like, people are flying around on wires. I thought that was a cool line, because this is like a basically a karate movie, and karate movies are known for their wire fights.
Yeah. Especially like the Hong Kong flicks.
Yeah, like Hidden Dragon, Crouching Tiger. Like, that's a really famous wire fighting movie.
I'm sure that the Three Storms, like when they're flying around and stuff, were absolutely on wires and harnesses.
And it's called wire fu, actually, like a wire, a combination of wire movement and kung fu.
That's just for movies, or do they actually like?
It's like a genre.
They don't have like tournaments where they're fighting.
No, I don't think they have like actual wire fights, but like it's like a genre of movies that we've all seen.
It's like those mystical, like supernatural. So like a Matrix or whatever, stole that style.
Yeah, exactly. But I think even one of the Austin Powers movies makes fun of it. Like, with
I do remember
Fat
that.
Bastard, he makes fun of the wire
my wire
fights.
broke.
Yeah. But the only reason I think that's cool is because, again, this was 1986, and going back and thinking about it, that was probably one of the first times I've ever heard anybody mention wire fighting in a kind of a movie context,
especially for like an American movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's probably something that had been around since the 60s or something like that, but I had never heard of it before. So that was probably like a really cool introduction to wire, what it was called in this movie.
It's a really quickly paced scene because you got Jack is on the phone. So half of what he's saying is like to the insurance company. And then the other half is like he's talking to Uncle Chu. That's Wang's uncle.
Yeah.
I guess who helps him run the restaurant or whatever. And there's like a bunch of different conversations all overlapping. Got Chu is like, China is here. And then it always stuck with me that Jack is like, what the hell? He's like, what the hell does that mean? I don't even know what the hell that means.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of when people talk to me very cryptically. Just tell me what it is you're talking about. What is going on?
But yeah, he's talking like to the insurance guys, and he's like, I don't want to hear about an act of God, or he's like abandoned like hell.
Yeah. He also, Jag mentions Lopan's name in this, and this is when Uncle Chu really kind of.
He got that from Wang, right? Like Wang, I guess, said that's Lopan or something to him in the fight.
Yeah, maybe.
In the moment.
But I know Lopan's name has mentioned this, and this is when Uncle Chu really kind of perks up. He's like, wait a minute, y'all saw Lopan? How's that even possible? Like, y'all really saw him?
And the storms, I think.
Yeah.
Like, Chu knew about the storms.
And he's like, well, Wang, why didn't you tell me that you saw Lopan? He's like, well, I didn't really want to bother you.
I didn't want to scare you.
I didn't want to bug you about it. Like, no, like... Literally, like the most notorious person in all of like Chinatown, and you don't even bother to mention him to me.
I also noticed in this scene, so it's pouring rain outside, and there's like a loud crash of thunder and flash of lightning, which like spooks Wang, and he's looking all around. Like, and it didn't occur to me until my most recent time watching it that he must still be like on the lookout for the storms.
Yes.
Like when that stuff happens, he's like nervous that it might be lightning and thunder showing up to fight them or whatever.
It's called good directing.
Yeah,
Good
that's a
job,
good
good
like that had to be in the script too, though, don't you think? Or do you think
It's hard to
they came
say,
up with it
man.
on set?
It's hard to say.
You
Like,
get good actors, and they do come up with little ideas like that.
I feel like that's something that if you made it up on the spot, like that would take a lot of work. Like because you have to tell your actor that you need to react to this, and then you actually have to make the thunder. I don't know how hard that probably was for them. It's probably really easy just to flash a light and we'll add the sound in post or something like that. But yeah, that's a really good question, man. I just don't know the answer.
We can maybe find some draft of the script, but even then you don't know that it was like this shooting script.
Wayne reacts to thunder in the background.
So it's about this time that Wayne's friend Eddie walks in. I think he introduces him as the maitre d' of the restaurant.
Yeah.
And Eddie just like sort of spits out like, "Oh yeah, Lords of Death stole your truck."
Yeah, like how did he get that information? Like a customer walked in,
Really?
He just overheard them talking about that.
If it's that easy, then the police should already be on the case.
You would think.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
But you know what? I got to take it back for a second because I meant to say this earlier and I forgot. There was like easily 20 or 30 people killed in that alley, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, does that even make the news around there? Like, you would think that if that happened in real life, that would be national news, you know?
Well, so nobody came rushing when there was this giant green fireball. So
do you think they just like take care of their own around here and like they don't even know and calls the police?
I think that the people like, okay, so you remember when Jack and Wayne pulled into that, when they just first pulled into the alleyway and Jack tried to ask that old lady a question and she kind of
closed the window.
I think there's a lot of that going on.
Okay, everyone's looking the other way.
Everybody's looking the other way. Nobody wants to really know what's going on. I don't care if there was this giant green explosion. Like, you wouldn't. I didn't see that. Nothing here. Nothing happening.
No, they're not snitching.
Yeah, no, okay. I didn't see it. I think there's a whole lot of that going on.
It's about this time that Wang's friend Eddie walks in and he's just like spouting exposition out.
Yeah,
like it's like the Lords of Death stole your truck, Jack.
They got your girl, and this is where she's at.
Right? And Eddie, he's like just a goofy character. Like he's got a goofy clothes on. Kind of seems like a dork.
So I wanted to say that the guy that plays Eddie, his name is Donald Lee. I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. That dude is like a working actor.
Yeah?
Yeah. He
Still?
was in The Avengers.
Okay.
He played like a World Council member in the Avengers. Like I don't even remember what World Council.
I'm gonna have to look him up there.
Yeah,
check
but
his credits out.
Check out his IMDb. He shows up in like little like he's a cop in this movie, or he's like a World Counselor in Avengers, or he's like something in this movie. Like that dude is like working actor.
But he's like, man, he plays it kind of corny. Like you can tell he's just sort of a doofus.
Well, I imagine that's the way John Carpenter, because the whole movie is just kind of silly. As silly as Jack is, like Eddie Lee's character is even goofier. Like there's no heroics about him.
He's kind of seems like a slick talker. I think Wang says that he's a maitre d' of the restaurant, so that kind of makes sense. But yeah, he is just like he's got all the information that they need.
Honestly, I would think that the next 20 minutes of this movie is like the whole exposition.
Pretty much, because really, if you think about it, they haven't really explained a whole lot to us up to this point.
It's been all action.
Yeah, and so he explains that the Lords of Death were just looking to kidnap a girl to sell, and that Lo Pan now has ordered that was a funeral for the good gang's leader, that Lo Pan had ordered him assassinated. All this sort of information to try to explain away everything that's happened already.
Yeah, so Lo Pan had the guy in the funeral murdered, and then he came to the funeral and murdered other people.
Right,
that's hardcore right
that's
there.
That's like some Don Corleone.
That's some mafia shit for y'all.
And then Gracie Law busts in, which it's kind of interesting that she just walks into the back room of the restaurant, right?
Yeah,
she belongs there. Like
she has a weird way of. She's like, "Hi, I'm Gracie Law."
She's sort of stooped over, like she seemed like an old woman with like a shawl over her head. Then she flings it off, and she's like, "Don't worry, it's just me, Gracie Law."
Yeah.
It is. Everything in this movie is very overly broad. There's not a whole lot of subtle nuance to anything, really.
Yeah,
but I mean that's just the style of the movie.
It reads kind of like a 1950s screenplay. It's over the top with their dialogue and how they present themselves. Like they talk about themselves as if they are characters instead of talking about as if they're just like real people.
And it's also just sort of like madcap, just real quick talking, like a Tracy and Hepburn or whatever. They're just snap, snap, snap. Keep the lines just coming fast and furious.
I wonder if that was the way it was blocked, or was that just in editing? Because you could do, like, they could have paced it a lot slower when he was filming it and then just sped it up in editing.
That's true. Yeah, I think it was definitely like it achieves its purpose though, which is just to try to keep it moving quickly, even though it's a bunch of exposition.
Yeah, you really have to listen because they everything they say, it spells out some part of the story. But it's one of the beauties of watching films like several times over, because you might miss something the first time and then you watch it again, like, oh, I didn't realize this. That's what they said in this scene.
But so Gracie's also got a bunch of information that we need, right? Like she's like says, "Oh, the Lords of Death took Miao Yin to the whorehouse."
You're like, how does she know that?
She's got her ear to the street, I guess.
Like, I'm not a big fan of like movies where like the central characters know all the information in the entire world.
It's
like nobody else
very convenient.
knows anything else. Like there's not a random like cop or in the neighborhood, or it's
I think she says that they can try to buy her back, but it has to be tonight.
Yeah.
And then
it's really expensive too.
They mention, because of the green eyes.
Yeah.
Like, I can't remember if it's Eddie or Chu or who mentions the green eyes. And she has that weird line about, oh, that's like what leather bucket seats on a convertible or something like that.
She does compare it to a car.
You double the price.
She compares it to a car. That's somebody you want on your side right there.
Yeah. So...
Around this time is when Uncle Chu starts like talking about Lopan and
he's
the
like
mythos of him,
telling us how he's not a human, he's like a dream, and
Jack is again like, what are you talking about?
Well, it is like, it's good for us that Jack is there, because that's someone we can sort of put ourselves in his shoes. Like, he's an outsider and none of this means anything to him. I think he even says like, you guys, I'm sort of feeling like an outsider here, and they're like, you are.
Like Gracie's like, you are. Yeah.
Wang says he's got a plan on how they're going to get her back, and that's kind of like the end of this section of the movie.
Yeah. What Wang says something really like over the top of this part too. He's like,
what's that?
I'm gonna go get her, whether it takes my life or my death, or it's just something like that. And you're just like, geez, really, dude?
But we've all been in love before.
Yeah, but it didn't stop you from eating your dinner there.
That's true. You like stop off to do a quick load of laundry.
Yeah, he wasn't in that big of a rush. I guess he was getting his energy or something like that.
Right. But that, I think, will wrap us for part 3 of the Big Trouble in Little China breakdown.
Yeah. We'll come back for episode 4.
All right, we'll be back.
All right, thanks.